The Labour Party and the Conservatives are on course for their lowest combined vote share since the Second World War, as the latest opinion poll for The Observer shows a shift away from the main parties. With all the parties having now unveiled their election manifestos, Labour has maintained a dominant 17-point lead over the Tories, with less than 3 weeks to go until polling day. However, Reform and the Lib Dems are up 2 points each. It is a reversal of the trend seen at the last election, when the main parties were actually able to squeeze the support of their smaller competitors. But according to Opinium research, support for the smaller parties dropped 10% between the first and last poll in the 2019 campaign. So far, though, the total vote share for smaller parties is up 5 points this time around. Well, with 20-point poll leads, historic strength on all the polling indicators, a flailing opponent fighting for the third place, and yet still the Labour Party worries, it is no wonder. But to better understand the electoral challenges in the run-up to the UK general election, we have with us the Labour candidate for Harrow East, Primesh Patel. Thank you so much, Mr. Patel, for joining us on The World 24/7. Well, the Tories, languishing in the polls for now, seem to be choosing to zero in on attacking your leader, Keir Starmer, as they try to spook voters into stopping a Labour landslide. Rishi Sunak is confident that he will beat the anti-incumbency and be voted back to power. But is your party geared to meet the challenge?
What I would say is absolutely, Labour Party is completely ready to form the next government of the United Kingdom. The sense we're getting on the doorsteps here in Harrow East are that people are ready for change. People are very sick and tired of 14 years of Conservative Party chaos. They see a country that hasn't really moved much for the better, if at all, in the last 14 years. And the feedback I'm getting on the doorstep is that people do want to get rid of the current Prime Minister, the current administration, and usher in a decade of renewal and change with Labour.
Well, Mr. Patel, migration has been a key focus as far as this election is concerned. Your party says it will immediately scrap the Rwanda scheme and divert £75 million from it to a new border and security command. But will it really make a difference, or is it just rebranding?
The two policies are completely and radically different. So the Rwanda scheme, which you mentioned, which is the Conservative initiative, is a completely unworkable vanity scheme, whereas the Labour proposal for the Border and Security Command is a serious proposal to take control of British borders in an ordered, legal and compassionate way. The Rwanda scheme will only deal with 1% of illegal asylum seekers, and at the moment the United Kingdom spends £8 million a week on housing illegal migrants waiting for processing. So what we want to do is deal with this issue of migration and particularly illegal migration in a compassionate way, but in a way that does deal with the situation at hand. It's critical that we deal with the issue and not skate around it. So our proposals are very much to stop the chaos, go after the criminal gangs who trade in driving the crisis, and the new Border Security Command will have hundreds of investigators, intelligence officers, cross-border police officers, and it will be funded by ending the wasteful scheme that you mentioned with Rwanda.
You know, when I was speaking to your Shadow Trade Secretary about a fortnight ago, he had clearly mentioned that there are no plans that the Labour has to abolish the graduate route visa scheme. But would the Labour Party work towards allowing the graduate route visa scheme to continue post the 4th of July?
So the graduate migration, is something that will be part of the overall policy that we look at when we talk about immigration. But we have obviously committed to bringing down overall immigration levels. Now, graduates form a particularly important source of migration to the United Kingdom, but they are very much valued. Our universities, benefit from having graduates attend our universities. So we want to ensure that we continue with that. But our focus will be very much on cutting any abuse in the system where it does exist. So where we have people attending colleges that aren't particularly real or fake. Our focus will be on tackling that aspect of graduate migration. We don't want to in any way disincentivize all the wonderful students that come to British universities to learn. It enriches both us and those countries that those students come from. So it is very much an important part of our welcoming culture to have as many students as want to come to our universities, but in a fair, controlled manner, using the appropriate processes that we have in place.
Well, Mr. Patel, many say successive Tory PMs have put aside qualms over Narendra Modi in the pursuit of boosting trade with India. Now, Prime Minister Modi is now steering the third term. How does your party see his appointment as Prime Minister for the third time? And where do you see India-UK relations under a Labour dispensation in the UK?
So, absolutely critical to our future as a country. So it's actually, if you look at page 122 of the Labour Party manifesto, which was just released a couple of days ago, we actually mention India specifically in our manifesto, and we make it very clear that we want, that is to say, a Labour government, United Kingdom under a Labour government. We want a new strategic partnership with India, focusing on many areas, but we certainly recognise the importance of India to the United Kingdom, and we hope that will be a mutually beneficial relationship, particularly given our people-to-people contacts. You can probably tell from my surname, I am of Indian origin myself, and I'm very proud to be one of many Indian origin parliamentary candidates that are standing for the Labour Party at this election. I think the largest number ever. So we will certainly be pushing for strong relationships between the United Kingdom under a Labour government and India under Mr. Modi.
Right. Also, many would say forget Rishi Sunak. Tory strategists are completely obsessed with Keir Starmer. In fact, the Conservative Prime Minister is conspicuously absent from the party's social media ads. But what do you have to say to those who are branding Keir Starmer as a robot and Sir Sleepy?
Okay, so what I would say to that is that I personally believe that our politics deserves better than insults and name calling, and it's a shame that that is where the Conservatives seem to have gone now. And if that's all they got, then I think it shows that we are more serious as a political party in the Labour Party. Our manifesto that I mentioned that we released 2 days ago is a serious offer to the country. It's an opportunity for hope and change for our country. We've had 14 years of chaos, and we need to change track for our country. What we've got is an ambitious program to get back to economic growth and get hope and opportunity for the next generation. It's the change that our country so desperately needs. And from my door knocking here in Harrow East, the British people know the cost of Tory chaos. They want alternative to it, not a repeat of it. So that's why we're taking a different approach to the Conservatives, where we've got a positive message about hope for our country, the change that we can offer. Everything we offer is fully costed, fully funded, credible to turn the country around after 14 years of Tory chaos. So the choice is clear at the election. It's 5 more years of Conservative chaos with the current government, which will mean higher mortgages, higher bills, or stability with a changed Labour Party to end that chaos so that we can turn the page and really rebuild Britain. So it's time for change, in my view.
Right, Mr. Patel, thank you so much for joining us on the World 24/7, and here's wishing you good luck for the 4th of July.